I want to say a few words. And this is meant to be an overview of part one of the course, which is I am calling Before Moral Philosophy. One of the things that I said, hopefully, in the course overview video was that moral philosophy is not coextensive with morality or talk about ethics and morality in general. Moral philosophy is to some degree has to be a reflection on the basis of morality. That is, asking certain questions about what morality is and how we actually decide moral questions. So, not everything that is moral or ethical in nature is actually moral philosophy. We will see, of course, as we move on, what that is actually like. We'll be looking at number of examples of philosophers trying to ask those questions about what morality is and how we actually could make correct moral decisions. This is not like that. That is, the first three readings, and I could have chosen them from a different tradition, but I'm most familiar with the biblical tradition, where we get in these parts of the Bible ethical instruction. We get it from Jehovah himself in Ten Commandments. We get it from the preacher, Ecclesiastes, which is a remarkable work, as we'll see. And we get it from Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount version from Gospel according to Matthew. Of course, just saying that these things are not moral philosophy is not enough. You have to read them and see what they actually say. Although I'm giving them to you as an example of, let's say, ethical discourse or ethical instruction that is not actually moral philosophy, you actually have to look. I mean, the interest of that is, or the interest of these texts is not in what they are not, it's in what they are. And the ethical instruction, the ethical ideas, varied as they are, that they actually contain. So, just to sort of label it to some degree, this is not moral philosophy. This is ethical instruction or ethical teaching, but it's not actually philosophy, I would say. Philosophy requires that we be self reflective on the very thing that we're doing. And we look for the foundations and the ultimate ground for what we're doing. And these texts don't do that. These texts are not interested in philosophy. These texts are interested in, I suppose, from their point of view, giving truth and telling people how they should live. From the law giving of the Ten Commandments to the, let's say, the outlook on life from Ecclesiastes to the instruction that Jesus gives his followers in terms of how he thinks they ought to live. So the real interest, of course, is in the content of these texts. Just to let you know, I mean, many of you, most of you know this already, but the Bible is a huge book. It's really not one book, obviously. It's a collection of books. The Old Testament being the collection of books that are scriptural for the Israelites or for the modern Jewish people, and the New Testament, which is along with the Old Testament, the scripture of Christians. And obviously, it's such a wide-ranging book that you can't, I think, you could never say this is the ethics or this is the ethical teaching of the Bible because it's too varied. And certainly you can see that in the different texts that I'm giving you. And I really meant to emphasize that variety here. So the important thing here, I suppose, is to keep in mind the idea that what's going on here is not, strictly speaking, moral philosophy. Then what is it? I mean, what kind of ethical instruction is here, and how do you take it?